Hey everybody, if you recall, last year I made an announcement that I was going to be making the switch from Kangoo jumps to bounce boots, and yesterday the FedEx man delivered. I got my bounce boots and I did order the pink color. As you can see, everything is so pink today in here, and I just wanted to go through what you get with the bounce boots, and then I'm going to go through some of the differences between the bounce boots and the Kangoo jumps. Then I will make another video with a review, and the reason I do that is because I'm one that believes you really need to use a product not once, not twice, but several times before you actually can determine whether it's a good product or not. So I'm going to be using them for a couple of weeks, and I'll make another video with the review, and then if there's any updates months down the line, because I hope to be using these all summer long, I'll make another video with that as well. So far, I was very impressed when I first opened the box of bounce boots, and the reason why is they were significantly cheaper than the Kangoo jumps, and they give you a spare pair of bands. And for those of you that have had Kangoos in the past or have them currently, you know that these things are not really very cheap to buy. They're about $25, $26 a set. So the fact that they're giving you a pair when you buy your pair, which costs less than Kangoos to begin with, it's a lot more value for the money. Now, for many of you, you may remember the updated video. One of the issues I had with Kangoo jumps was how difficult it was to change some of the parts. It takes a lot of muscle, especially the bands. So bounce boots, they give you, ta-da, an Allen wrench to help change some of the parts. So before I compared the two different brands, just wanted to point out with Kangoo jumps, which were boots that have been around for many years, that their patent expired a couple years ago, and you had innovators that took the blueprint for the Kangoo jumps and just improved on it to make a more superior model. So let's start with the boot. What they did with the boot, now this is the boot from my Kangoo jumps. The boots from Bounce Boots are thicker, and they're thicker, more padded, so that it's a little bit less rubbing against your heel or your ankles, which used to cause blistering. Also, the way it was designed, where it wraps around a little bit better, so when you tighten the buckles, it fits more snug against your leg. Now, which is a benefit. When I was wearing the Kangoo jumps, I used to have to wear 2 pairs of socks because the boot just didn't really fit that well. Next, we're going to go through the buckle. So with the Kangoo jumps, it was just a basic buckle where you would push in, snap it out, and then you could pull, well, you would push in, snap it out, and you would adjust it by pulling this through when it's snapped or clicking on this to loosen it up. The buckles on the bounce boots seem a lot more simplified. The top latch you just pull out, and this will just give you extra support. The 2-second latches are on a click by click. So to loosen them, you're just going to push down and you can loosen them. To tighten them, you just pull them out straight, and then as each one, it clicks by click to slowly tighten them. So it's a little bit more secure. Another thing that's a big difference are the bands. And they do have different size bands depending on your weight. I believe Kangoo jumps does too, but I'm not 100% sure. But the big difference is this. The bounce boots have 4 columns. The Kangoos only have 3, and there's a lot of spacing in between. So this gives you a little bit more of a bounce than the jumps does. And the other difference is their columns are round, where with Kangoo they're flat and square. Another thing Kangoo always said to do is you get the bands, and if they're too hard or you wanted to take something less intense, you just cut the center one out. So what's the problem with that? Is you cut the center one out, now all of a sudden you want to make it more intense. You can't put it back. You have to buy new bands, which, as I had said earlier, they're kind of expensive and they're a real hassle to replace on there. It remains to be seen if this new style will last longer. As I said, my big thing with the jumps is that it was very, very difficult to replace the band. So difficult that I had to send them out to somebody else to do it for me. I'm hoping that these will last a little bit longer, and hopefully maybe they'll be a little bit easier to replace. So the treads look very similar, but the company says that theirs are made a little bit better. I will probably use them a lot. When I got my Kangoo jumps, I was using them probably 2-3 times a week for running. So hopefully I'll get a good use this summer with the bounce boot. And one of the biggest differences, as you can see, are the colors that it comes in. Of course, I got pink, they come in green, they come in black, and they just introduced a really nice blue bounce boot. So if you would like to purchase a pair, I do have a link below where you can go directly right in and buy your pair and buy some accessories as well if you're interested in that. And stay tuned for a video 2-3 weeks, maybe a little longer, where I will eventually be doing a review on using them as well, because I know many of you have asked me about the switch. Don't forget, I do have my baking videos coming up every week. Every Thursday I publish a baking video. And one other thing before I sign off, for those of you who keep asking me, when's your next cruise? When's your next cruise? July 24th, Anthem of the Seas to Bermuda. I will be vlogging that as well, so stick around for that as also.